What's that?
We paid a lot of money for that data.
That's this. Sweet. Well, I mean, we'll just kick this meeting off, but I'm gonna turn it over to everyone else but me. But, meeting's officially started.
All right, so, we invited, the Rec and Trails Committee invited Consensus Planning to help us think through what the master plan is for Allen Fields. The only given is that there's gonna be 2 additional softball/baseball diamonds on that space. Otherwise, we're pretty much an open slate. We now have a better understanding of the property boundary. It's a rather strange boundary, but it is what it is. Half of it is probably within the 100% floodplain. Which doesn't mean you can't construct features in there as long as they're not gonna be impacted by flooding, I would believe. And off the record, there's no one at EPA or Corps of Engineers who cares anymore, so. But I think we wanna ask, this is the first part of the process, so we wanna put together a concept plan of what's gonna fit on the space. All the different potential amenities and recreational features. Our surveys are gonna help inform that as well. But despite other things that might surface in today's conversation that we should consider or think about what emerging trends are in recreation that maybe we can get ahead of. If no one checks off volleyball, then we probably should not invest in volleyball stuff. So it's an unknown at this point exactly what's gonna come out of it. We should be looking at space. How people move throughout the site. Flow of the recreational activities and how you can use that, how it connects to the school, how it still connects to the Mountain View Plaza, how it connects to 434. So I think all those pieces are important in this element. We do know Greg Allen, the owner of the resort, I believe takes pride in Allen Fields. I want to make sure it's always gonna be professional level quality. I think that's kind of one of the givens that we've got to be considering in this. So this is the first phase. We'll take this back. Once the concept's done, I believe there's several review processes in that, further committee review before it goes to council for further consideration. We should probably put the concept plan back out on social media again to get broader voices on what's coming out of this. So it shows it's a community-wide conversation on what we do with Allen Fields. I'm gonna turn it over to Ken. You're up.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate being here and appreciate working with the village. Very much, really appreciate it. And so my name is Ken Romick. I've met all of you in the past and for a variety of different capacities. I'm a landscape architect with Consensus Planning. We're planning, landscape architecture and urban design firm out of Albuquerque, and we once upon a time did the plan for Liberty Square for y'all, and that's how I sort of ran into Greg at the outdoor recreation conference. We started talking about how I could assist, and I've been lucky enough to work with the village for a year and a half now, 2 years. I really appreciate being here. You mentioned our scope of work and the type of work that we are under contract to do. I might go over that really quickly. So, and you all have approved that contract, but just to remind you. So it's a contract for public outreach and design, sort of wedded together. And the idea is that we are going to put together a survey, get a lot of community sentiment, a whole lot of community feedback, and that's going to feed into the design of the master plan. We will develop conceptual options from that feedback and the feedback we get here. On the 28th, we're gonna come back with you maybe with 2 or 3 conceptual designs for you to talk about the merits of each, talk about the strengths and weaknesses. And from that point forward, then we go to a preferred concept on June 4th. And we get a good concept that we can begin to take to you all get your vetting and make sure that we're on the right track. And then we take it to council, on June 23rd with a final, master plan, final graphic, basically. There are a lot of components with that, you know, that mentioned that we ought to make the school focus group and draw them in, and how does this facility serve the high school in any number of capacities. I just was driving out and I saw hurdles sitting over, in one of the storage areas, and I thought, so the school's over there practicing track and field all the time. So it was kind of exciting to see that there's synergy already, and I need to continue that in our process. So I'll make sure I reach out to the school district and to the high school. So today, the idea is to consider the programming of Allen Fields, consider the different things we've identified and possibly things that we haven't identified. And we had a really great meeting, very fantastic to talk through all that different opportunity, all the different opportunities that are out there. Each one of these priorities that's listed out there, I'd like you to pick up, green dots. Just go ahead and plug in only 3 each. And so we get to understand the priorities from y'all.
Not right now.
Not yet. And we're just going to put together a wish list, so to speak. And then we're going to pull out, I've got maps over here and large maps of the facility itself. And I have little shapes. We can push the shapes around. We can think about the layout. We can think about the circulation, which is really critical. We can think about the synergy between active recreation and passive recreation, and how you keep people safe in both situations. You know, my priority, I'll tell you, my design priority has always been to keep pedestrians and vehicles as far away from each other as possible. And if they mesh, you make it as safe as possible so that there's no safety concern, basically there. I think we ought to be thinking about accessible facilities as well. How to make it accessible, as most accessible as possible. We have a lot of different things to consider, including the trail that comes from Liberty Square, and how that interfaces with everything. And the floodplain is a significant constraint. I could bring this up really fast and we can talk to the constraints, but I think we went over this really pretty thoroughly when we were out there on site. I'm not certain there's much more to talk to. But essentially, you know we have a constraint getting to 434 in terms of access. That may or may not be possible. We have a lot of floodplain issues, but certain things can be located in floodplains. Parks and floodplains and drainage facilities are often combined and work together, and they can serve the same purpose. So I think we can overcome some of that. I certainly wouldn't think we would be in the river itself, but a certain distance away, I think we can manage to design some facilities in that. Great synergy with high school, gotta consider the airport. Lots of opportunities, I think, lots of opportunities for us to consider. And in my mind, one thing I would say that concerns me is the location of the proposed concession and restroom structure, although all the infrastructure is in the ground to service that. That's gonna be your most expensive item, right? Unless we build a recreation structure, not the recreation facility. And bring that was mentioned today, bringing the Mountain View Community Center. Maybe that is sold or utilized for different purpose, and that's those functions begin to show up here and it becomes a recreation center. That's a potential. But as this restroom concession structure can serve more constituents if it were located a little closer to the synergy, right, of what's in here. That, I just put that out there for your thought process. Cause you wouldn't wanna build two of them.
When was it moved, so then?
I can't, it was,
That would have been
About a year ago or so.
sometime, sometime last year.
Cause it's closer to the sewer line?
Then, and also at that point, we were pursuing a Trails Plus grant and the terminus of that trail was going to be there, so. So we were trying to kind of loop that in and get some Trails Plus money for the concessions, so that's the logic behind it. The first iteration had it in the middle,
Right.
and then we had talked about does it get too crammed in there with the flow, but now, yeah. So that's at least the logic behind it, whether that logic is sound or not is up to debate, but.
Well, in order for the Trails Plus grant, that is where it would need to be because it has to be at the end of a trail. For them to consider, funding,
really?
something like, so for that, it's
what if it
that
were,
purpose, yeah.
what if it were here? And the trail, of course, it's now following, from what I understand, the sanitary sewer easement. So that would make it its proximity closer if it were located.
I think, and the other reason for that was the trail, idea for the trail ending up at the side of that field. We didn't see those other two fields within 10 years. The trail could, the idea of the trail, we had planning money 2 years ago, that trail could have been built by now, had we all these issues solved. The trail coming along the boundary on that perimeter, it just made sense from that perspective and that grant to put it at the southern end, but I would concur that if parking and restroom are kind of the hub and everything else spokes out from that, it's worth, relooking as an alternative, as another option to consider.
Fair enough. That's kind of
Yeah.
my thought.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think we have to necessarily be locked into that.
But that was the logic behind it, why it got moved.
We got a conveyor, move back and forth,
Conveyor.
depending on the use.
That's a good idea. How much money do you have?
Well, they put up a big snow tube thing for the kids, that same idea, this stuff.
I think there was some thought too about it being in the center, there could have been some safety considerations.
It's sheltered.
The foul balls coming up over.
Yeah, our conversation when we put it in the middle was when there's hail, when there's thunderstorms, that we were talking about having a shelter.
A central
That's
location.
why everybody parks where the fields are supposed to be. Instead of the proposed parking, is because it was too far a run when the hailstorms came on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why everybody started parking closer to behind the grandstand.
Right.
So I think,
So if we had a place where somebody could actually get shelter
yeah.
from lightning, et cetera.
I think when the concession area was moved down, then in the center, there was proposed, and I think it's on
Yes,
that map,
that's
it's a covered pavilion.
Okay,
Covered pavilion.
Yeah.
It's right there. And there's one out here too. That's indicated on Dennis Engineer's drawing. So those do offer places of safety. That's good. And those could change. We could consider how, if they could roll in pretty quickly, it sounds like, and it's protecting yourself from those storms.
Yeah.
Important.
It does, yeah,
kids, yeah, referees and soccer teams up there.
because you're trying to
All of a
make
sudden, still got flashbang and you
Yeah.
can see it coming in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is that's not.
Well, this is, yes, this is how I understand the property. Yep, and I verified that with Santos.
You did?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
It's,
all right.
it's as close as I think it could be now. There might be some alterations.
There's room to obviously spread your two sets of fields apart and have a wider corridor if you push the boundaries and you get a variance to move that. And then you can budget, then you can have a better sized shelter and concession and bathrooms, right?
Right.
Right now, you're kind of limited because you can't have your grandstands, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Necessarily.
Right, and it provides a lot more
talked about that.
A lot more corridor, a utility corridor that goes through here, provides some nice space.
Yeah.
So you're not building on top of
Different.
your utilities, which would be difficult then to maintain.
Correct.
I think the whole thing was 90 acres.
Hmm.
If I remember.
This was supposed to be 9 acres?
I'm trying to remember, because we worked at the high school first. And then I was talking to Tim when we were looking at that area, we talked about the possibility, Tim is Greg Allen's brother who passed away with the field center. So we looked at him and we thought, well, you could have a rec area down there, but I thought the total piece, that doesn't look like, I can look.
It's been a,
Consalto says that's it, but that doesn't look right to me. I thought we had more space to play with.
One of Brett's messages says that the resort wasn't willing to give any road frontage because they want road frontage for.
Well, the highway frontage is obvious, the highest and best use of that particular property along the highway.
It's probably resident, industrial, commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right now, it's just leaving it alone and not having more industrial park, but I think as far as that looks very gerrymandered.
it was a strange, a strange survey that I received, true.
That just doesn't look familiar to me, sorry.
Unusual, very unusual.
Yeah,
What drove this line?
that's the part that really is concerning, because I remember going right to the,
Right to commit on that.
yeah.
Okay.
And so, because we had discussed what you had just informed us with, is that some wetlands or grass areas can be used for section basins. You build berms and then you have other park things around it and exercise areas or whatever the hell it is, right?
Athletic fields in particular are very,
Right,
okay in most instances,
right.
put in flood.
So I'll try the same thing.
I think there's other people questioning this alignment from here to here.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not sure about the rest of it as well.
I think some people thought this might be airport here, going this section. here.
Well, there's a corridor there that we talked about with the lights, or if we had a field, but you didn't want to blind people, and we checked with the FAA or something. We got
I thought,
somebody
yeah,
looked into that because we didn't want, Saturday night lights to.
And the height of the
Crashing
buildings probably
swings
are
and stuff.
concerns and everything.
Right, the FAA obviously has
Yes, it's a good sort of stuff, for sure.
but I'm not trying to.
No, but
That doesn't look familiar to me.
Institutional memory on this is pretty important, so that's.
Yes, this is all really good information, excellent. So we could break out, I think we could, right now, just, so I'll take this over here and we could go over to this table, I suppose, and I could break out all the little shapes we have for the different amenities and start playing. Or is there information that we should all know as we begin the design process?
So I didn't want to throw out, we have the standard horseshoe volleyball stuff on there, but I'm thinking about trends. Something I haven't seen much are, drone obstacle courses. So a lot of recreational drone use. Could you put a drone course somewhere in that would also not affect FAA issues,
Yeah.
right? I wonder about that. I wonder about a paintball course.
Really?
So things that are maybe, more recreational, things that are trending now than the typical volleyball. I think we pickleball ourselves to death here, so we don't.
Well, I was gonna bring that up again. Pickleball now is under the control of the resort.
The whole sport?
Well, no, as far as the courts, that are courts, and it does become a problem, like last summer, it got a big deal, like, people that weren't, that aren't a member of the resort there, and there are a fair amount of people, that come in, that live outside the resort
Yeah.
boundaries, or are here visiting, so they come down to play pickleball, and technically they're supposed to pay, and they've never really enforced that very well, but I think now that the new courts are there, they're gonna crack down on that, so I think you're gonna have more and more pickleball players that are not resort members, and it's gonna be harder for those people to play, on resort courts.
Good point.
And right now, the village has indoor pickleball courts, but no outdoor pickleball courts. And I think, Shay, a fair amount of people still play in the summer indoors up at that, because they don't want to mess with the courts can get crowded down at the resort.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't.
I'm starting to see that more, but at first, no, it was like, pickleball fell off the planet in the summer,
Yeah.
for the communities.
But I think there's more and more like beginners and intermediates that
Yeah,
are trying to avoid the mess down at the resort courts that are wanting to play during the summer. I know they prefer to play outside, but
yeah,
you do have the indoor courts. And so I think, I don't think pickleball should necessarily be excluded from this area just because the resort has courts. And I think the resort's gonna become more protective of their courts, especially with these new ones. Like, for instance, they're not gonna allow, right now, there's pickleball courts marked off on the tennis courts, and they're not gonna allow those tennis courts to be marked off for pickleball anymore. Pickleball is gonna be relegated to the new standalone.
Correct.
If there's any
Pickleball courts.
housing proposals around this area, the outdoor pickleball courts do sometimes interfere with noise ordinances for housing developments because of the constant noise outside. So just food for thought while you're considering the options. Just
But I
for
think that
future
it's,
planning.
if it's like, if you're trying to get, the heads in
It's
beds
loud.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You could attract pickleball tournament, just like it is, it's probably easier to get a pickleball tournament if you had courts out here versus softball tournaments.
So this would be the housing area.
Okay.
It looks like it's far enough away unless we put the pickleball courts right here. It would be far enough away.
Just to bring it to the awareness of the conversation.
Yeah, I've heard, there's an awful lot of people that are opposed to this housing.
It's a huge issue.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And probably another piece of consideration is the financial capacity and resource capacity of the village to do some of these things. So well, ice skating rink and a pool might be great, but the village actually afford to manage and maintain those facilities.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, if you're gonna put green dots there, green dot for a playground that you relocate is pretty cheap.
Right.
Putting a green dot there at the rec center is a little more expensive. So they're not all equal.
They're not all equal,
No.
that's for sure, right? But if we heard an overwhelming interest in this, from maybe the survey indicates that this is a high priority,
Right.
we'll have to sort of discuss what that begins to look like, what type of square footages we're looking at. What is a precedent nearby that would be equal to what the village would want? Maybe there's something in Taos that would be useful. The Genevieve Chavez, that's a little large in Santa Fe, I imagine.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things that we begin to bring to play in the conceptual design.
I think the house is full, it's a 25-meter pool, I think, instead of a tank.
I think so.
They playing.
Yeah.
And they have a hockey rink.
Yeah.
The hockey rink was, and they have a skate park out back, right?
I think they're getting the hockey rink indoors now.
They are, because it was open wall, but people, there's a lot of controversy about that, because the person that donated the money was Stephen Howard or some bullshit. This house. But yeah, that caught on fire. So they're rebuilding that, right? Have you been to that?
No, I haven't.
So when you go south through Canyon, cut off, and it's on the right-hand side past the bowling alley.
Oh.
And it's
Yeah.
worth visiting.
Many times.
Yes.
And it looks that from just driving by, it looks like it's been rebuilt, the fire damaged part.
Right.
You can see the fire damage for a long time.
Right,
I
exactly.
noticed now, it looks like it's been rebuilt.
Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, the rink itself doesn't lend itself, if it's your typical kind of small village barn that doesn't have a seating capacity or anything, just basic inches and stuff, but it's probably, for scale, you look at the population in town, so look at the population here.
Right.
You're not gonna, you can't shrink a swimming pool or a rink beyond
A joke.
smaller than the specs, right? So
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
But they have concessions for bathrooms and offices. But there is, you know, that design between.
Where's the most closest public pool besides Dallas? Is there anything in the valley here?
That used to be two accounts. There's nothing. You know. Had a variety of pools here. We had one at the start, or we had one behind the original one.
It's almost a need for a regional recreation authority in the valley.
Yeah.
Eagle Nest and Cimarron and
Yeah.
Angel Fire can agree, okay, we're gonna put all pitch in, have a pool in this location for the valley.
Right.
That's,
That would have been a good idea when we're land rich and people poor.
yeah.
But.
The Raton has the big aquatic facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is $1.50 halfway.
You're almost 2 foot there.
At least. If you go the speed limit, you can get there faster.
You don't stop at cold beer.
I prefer the
A
stop.
couple antelope on the way.
I prefer the stop, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be.
Well, these are all bad practices. We want to start thinking about design at this point.
Let's do a windshield survey when we
Let's get a
think of these
windshield
things. I'll be interested in that.
Okay.
Of the things that are up here on these ideas.
Now you can go.
I haven't even looked at it. I was just like something.
3 dots.
It's like stickers.
Do my stickers.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Are any of these semi-funded or any of these like
Already included.
already kind of have?
The skate park has some funding for it for
That's
the,
what I mean. Like,
yeah,
There's already a pathway. to
yeah,
funding
at
these
least some of them.
things? Okay.
So the skate park component is an agreement between, Oliver Bradley,
Oh,
his organization. He's willing to construct the features and the village is committed to pouring the slab.
And right
so
now,
it's not a 3D.
It's awesome.
Not at this point, but phase 2 would be contract behind that and other features, but the first one is a slab base.
I mean, sometimes I ask them why they don't. Depends on how long I stay cold beer, you know?
I also think with some of the stuff, I do think a gift.
You have to report it how you.
These things like the parkour feature or something makes a lot of sense, because I think there's grandparents here with stupid money that are willing to say, okay, I'm willing to put something that my kid plays.
That's not hard to get now. Separate grandparents from their money.
Harder than it sounds, is it pretty difficult these days?
I'm more to choose.
Just,
They're living a lot longer now.
Here, it's hard, it's such a busy somewhere and, you know, everybody else.
it's like, it would be nice that if this village had like a planned giving kind of
Yeah. That's what.
resort where, yeah, absolutely. If there was, if one of our local charitable organizations could be converted and we get a concerted effort to do that, that would be smart.
Yeah.
And we could plaster grandpa's name on it.
Exactly.
But I don't see that.
I'm cheating, you can't sell your dog. Need to get a hold of, a bunch of names, I've seen.
because even if, so, and like the perimeter on the side of the trails, can they be combined and attached to the trail? Greenbelt trail was already,
That's part of the plan as far as the Frank Young and then moving the Frank Young Trail to this place and then that it all kind of,
Well,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah, relocate that funding to over here.
yeah, and that they'll all eventually connect and then connect one out to the resort,
Right.
RV park. Into that.
Connect up to the forest trail.
Cause that way, technically, I mean, you could gravel bike your way around here if you needed to or wanted to.
Well,
And if you know where to go.
I think always understand that
I need to figure that out.
what this village is missing as far as the high school scene is that it's not interconnected.
That's exactly my point.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
most bike towns that have all kinds of bike, silver this or that.
Park City.
Park City,
SMU,
Amber towns.
well, not even the IMBA towns, but like just having, some of the, used to be, bicycle league. But having connections connected through, you can get from A to B to C on bikes.
Yeah,
And here we really can't. We've got a good bike park. And we got a few greenbelt trails, but we really can't move around very well on the system.
Well,
If you come off one trail, you hit a curb.
the trails used to be better before the Forest Service took all the frontage out of the what they did.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went into Sawyer's and just decimated. Up there.
But we are lacking some of the bike connectedness. So for example, we were just talking at the RV resort, those people probably all have some sort of e-bike in the back of their rigs and.
Well, and they're already coming here for the downhill hill.
They
that's
are.
open Year round. So
Not yet, we're also at a ski hill, but. It's people.
No, I just meant, like, isn't it the longest open downhill?
Yeah,
yeah.
So, I mean, you're
And
already
it's one of the
drawing
best.
people here.
Yeah, so how can you get from the RV resort into town, that being the right of way? Would you come in for the farmer's market? Would you come in for the music? Would you come in to go grocery shopping on your e-bike if there was a good
a way to get
route?
around.
And that's kind of that.
So there's an easement from that the resort has from the RV resort to Kit Carson National Forest, right?
Yeah, there is.
And so the conversation then went to the Girl Scouts to go up and, then link back in through Sage at one time, right?
Yeah, I think so, right. And they're also, we're off topic now, but there's other planned developments out there below the RV resort that some of those proposed roads could actually be trail corridors.
Well, that whole area where the mobile home states is.
Yeah, I think so, somewhere out there.
But, the village could also do things like, I don't think village has ever pulled the trigger on eminent domain ever. But like at the end of Via Del Rey, the connection to the
What do you do?
forest there, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's private property.
it is. That's why
Well, and I
God
think,
invented eminent domain.
yeah, that's on our recreation or trails committee, that's kind of on our agenda.
The only problem with that is parking,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Under other for way future maybe, but just thought is the track for the high school. I mean, is that even worth,
A quarter-mile track.
I mean, if they have a track program in any,
Yeah, and then, a guy that works for me that used to do pole vaulting and then another guy that was a coach, they were talking about, like, they love that pole vaulting out there.
sure,
Cause I guess Cimarron's giving them their mats and like you can't just like move them around, they're kind of big.
Oh, really?
They're heavy too.
Yeah.
Did you mention that the school has some restrictions, deed restrictions?
There's the
They can't have a
things in the
gym.
charter that restrict some of it, because it was originally chartered as a pedaics school. And, like, I'm trying to remember if it had that meeting space that you'd have to have, which we have in the original design concepts and that, and I just know that, like a gym, everybody goes, how come the school doesn't have a gym? Well, they can't as per the charter. So I don't know what is inclusive, but I know that, Ed Ledford was involved in that, I think.
But it did, but high school track, this,
right.
could, it's a possibility,
Right,
which would be interesting to.
Because cause then you get into the whole conversation of what other sports can you draw into the school system, right? You can use mixed use courses for squash or whatever, right? I don't know what all the racket sports are. I was not a racket player, but I mean, you kind of get into the, what are you offering then to the students at the
But
school?
you also have to work with the NMAA, right, which is a pain in the ass, because I spent about 30 years trying to get high school e-racing.
Yeah.
As, you know, and so trust me, unless you're volleyball, baseball, football,
Okay.
well, it's there, so they have like a golf team, and those things are the more obscure, to me, just sports, you're not allowed to have as much. So NMAA is a pain in the ass. And
The New Mexico
Athletic
athletic.
Association, which does, so they oversee soccer, and they oversee baseball, and basketball, and all that stuff.
But like the Taos mountain bike team competes in Arizona and Colorado, as there's no high school competition in New Mexico.
There's particular design criteria for that type of competition for their.
I believe there is for that, but, I know Carl Colonius for a long time was helping coach that Taos team.
But it's the same as ski racing.
Yeah.
In New Mexico, we sponsored a bunch of high school athletes to go outside of New Mexico to compete. But we couldn't, we tried to just have a simple high school and snowboard championship. And it got killed every time we went to it. So I'm just saying it's,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the state.
There's a lot there. So in the comprehensive plan, have you explored all these aspects of trails? And have you developed strategies to begin to develop this connectedness?
Yes,
And this possibility of attracting high school bike championships?
not bike, we have talked about, cross-country meets and the most running, things that that's like.
I mean,
Is MMA.
yeah.
And we've actually reached out to the Taos cross-country coach and, got some mediocre feedback on whether or not they'd ever do tournaments. They were not
Okay.
here.
I would leave bike on there.
Bike?
I would leave it, I mean,
Definitely, I mean, so the rocket ramps, I guess Rocky got, not rocket ramps, Rocky got American Ram Company, they're emailing me talking about like all the UCI, pump track stuff is all in Colorado, like we don't have it here.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of what some of those qualifications were.
You see,
Yeah, I think it's UCI,
UC or UT?
UCI.
UCI.
That's right. Just that.
Cause I know River, the girl that stood up and talked, she tried to do it downhill. Or she started one whenever she was in high school, something with a downhill league. And a whole bunch of other stuff.
That, when we first built the high school, we got a donation of a bunch of mountain bikes, because she was way into mountain, and that's why there's a climbing rock up there, stuff,
Mhm.
you know, that
Yes, yes.
in the back.
Mhm.
So we've had a lot of that. That stuff, so it just depends on whether, you know, the charter can allow it and whether the NMAA will adopt it or we have to go outside there. But that's the obstacle the village funds working with the school district,
Well, and that's where like the pump track, that would be, you know, open to the public
right?
or whatever, and it would be, you know, villages.
Right.
So then any kind of events, that would be, there's a whole slew of events that could come from that.
What do you think about this? By the way, the survey is dated to end the 20th. With that consideration, is that good? Is that decent? So this information will be folded into the survey. It'll actually be independent, I think. It will be
I think,
independent.
yeah, and we'll do another, social media push on the survey, like in a day or so to get people to.
I can leave this and leave all green dots up front, and those persons that come in for different meetings, village council meeting, if they can contribute to this list of priorities, just take a picture, send it to me, and I'll integrate it into our report. Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful to get a little bit more traffic on it.
Right,
You just put them instructions of this, they don't put 3 dots on one, or,
right.
and those councils, if you sound dots.
It's just-
I mean, I will be at opening day of Downhill, getting a lot of people to fill out flyers, and I printed off like 20-something flyers and got them around town, so.
Good, yeah, I have extra surveys back here and some flyers as well.
That's good, thank you.
Survey.
Yeah, thank you, good.
There's been a lot of respondents, you know.
Good.
Good.
I'm gonna thank everybody that's trying to get first care while they're waiting there.
Is this based on residency?
No,
No?
no, because I mean, that's the other things is getting people to come, spend money.
No, I get that.
Heads in bed.
We are asking if they're resident or not, so we'll,
That's what I'm asking.
we will know,
Yes.
their status, so where they're from, or not from where, but whether it's full-time or not.
So I
We
think,
do have a QR code, you can do the survey.
I've done it.
so the pump track skate park wins out.
Okay.
Next in line is the recreation center, restroom and concession structure. Shade structures and seating. Bleachers and that sort of thing, perimeter exercise. This was. Here we are. And then we have some outliers, outdoor courts and softball.
Where's swimming pool?
It's in the
It's in the rec center.
In the rec center.
Then I would spell it out.
No.
Would you?
Right?
Okay, rec center, okay, basketball, we already have that. Yeah, swimming pool,
Right.
there you go.
And then I.
You'll get more green dots now.
Probably will.
I mean, I would say another is like as far as the fields that are going in, if they're multi-use, like if you have a lacrosse program that stands up, you want to have the space for that on the field that's already existing. I would say field hockey, lacrosse. What are some of the other?
The only problem we had,
Uh-huh.
but, we had a bunch of rugby guys wanting, but
Okay.
they want to use different cleats. So you gotta control the cleat use
Okay,
on those fields
Awesome.
because you puncture the membrane and then yours.
Should I put, instead of soccer fields, should I put multi-use athletic fields?
Mhm.
And then, for
Yeah.
instance, soccer,
I remember the inlays to put in the striping for the soccer, additional soccer fields and the ball diamonds and everything. When we did the original one and it's all one level, didn't cost a hell of a lot more to stripe it out for soccer
No.
either. So I mean, if it's not prohibitive, it makes sense to just do it.
yeah.
And I don't think it pisses too many people off. I've never had an issue like roughing out there, getting confused with the lines, and then the kids screw up the touch lines because there's a ball field or but whereas pickleball really pisses people
it
off.
does.
If you stripe tennis court with pickleball, that's why we're having the issue you're talking about with our down here resurfacing is,
Yeah,
I mean, the tennis players went nuts.
yeah, that pisses people off.
They're pretty territorial.
But yeah, so the ones they've got striped as pickleball courts now will revert just
Or maybe exclusively and then revert them to just tennis. Much to others' chagrin.
So there's a good argument then that additional pickleball is already. The other with pickleball is the other one, is there other pickleball?
Yeah,
It's pickleball there.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Oh, Christie.
I don't see any horseshoe pits, so but there are the
Oh,
persons that are most interested, did you say you're ready?
Lenny Baker and Martha
I'd be
Ashley,
very interested in this.
they have a proposal, they've already put together a proposal, 10 courts, all centered out.
And it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, the courts are not expensive.
No,
Ever.
he has a professional one in his backyard, concrete line, the whole thing, so, yeah.
What about bocce ball or any of those that are also like lined, easy, does that attract anybody? I don't know.
Is that a sport played by anyone around Stephen?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea. It's
They have a couple
Yeah.
in Albuquerque.
Yeah, it's a community type
Yeah,
event.
it's rare.
Got a second home in Arizona, it's real big over there.
Oh, yeah, it's real big, like around Texas too. I mean, there's some
Corner.
bocce balls, like a social gathering place for people.
Yeah. Cornwall is a very.
Yeah.
That's so easy to set up.
The other thing is, it's funny, I mean, I own, some windsurfing school on Eagle Nest Lake. Yeah, you don't see that anymore. So just
Activity.
sports and whether it's pickleball or anything else, it goes to both.
Supplements that.
The tremendous.
Southerners was huge.
Yeah, too, but the mountain biking is good.
No, mountain biking is pretty flat, right? Pretty flat. So I'm just saying, that you've gotta, if you're, swimming pools have always been kind of popular.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, don't get caught up in a trend. Just a warning.
Yeah, you kind of wonder.
According to your demographic.
Pickleball is a certain demographic, and when it backfills with younger people, we'll all go, oh. Like it doesn't.
Use that court for now.
Like racquetball.
And then right now,
Futsal.
the real scarce part of the mountain, down the mountain biking, is we don't have a real good pathway for onboarding new people,
I've never even.
especially here.
So that was a-
For an event
Play
based
basketball court,
mountain.
like soccer.
Oh.
If you go to Snowmass, that's what they're doing, to try to make that, they started with.
Yeah, it's like indoor soccer, but
And
it's
it
a smaller
costs-
field and it's vast.
Times more to build a green trail than it does to build a.
Black, yeah.
Buildings, so it's all just.
I'm just saying, sports come and go, dude.
For sure.
I mean, we had the the racquetball condos are called racquetball condos because they used to be racquetball.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
And now they're condos. Not racquetball courts. Just saying.
Yeah, making
It's
things.
like most developments get named after the
Right,
maple trees that were there, right?
So, I mean, yeah, sports, that's why I'm always about skating rink, just because if you look at sports right now in growth, hockey, ice hockey. And I wouldn't have said, when I moved here, I used to be in charge of building Madison and outdoors here. And no one's here. But now, one of the things we do when we do, teaching for transfer up to ski schools, we ask the kids, how many kids here are hockey players? And they're out of Dallas, and they are. Because hockey's big in Texas now. And 30 years ago, before Gretzky came south, hockey was not a thing. So I'm just saying, sports come and go. And you gotta build something for what is 20 years from now, not what we needed 20 years ago.
Multi-use is what I hear loud and clear.
An ability to be repurposed to
Something else.
something else.
Yeah.
Major.
So if you build a big building at the community center, it's a good thing we have a big, large room without supporting wall structure inside that cuts it up and limits its utility. Because it was built the way it is, it lends itself to a lot of other things.
Yeah, when that building was built, they probably never envisioned pickleball being played in there,
No,
but it's built in the way that it.
I mean.
no, it's not, like I said, it was built, funded by the senior. So it was envisioned, instead of a wooden floor, God, I think they talked more about bridge tournaments or something. I don't know, you know?
It's been able to be.
And the kitchen was a good element, I was saying. But I just think because, we didn't, it wasn't cut up, it was a giant space, but it could be used for something
Now they go
else.
outside,
So
yeah.
when you build stuff,
Yeah, they kick hard, yeah.
not putting bearing walls in which you
Their
had
hand is an invention too,
and
that,
having sufficient
because we didn't have them in.
floor systems that, et cetera.
Isn't there a
Makes sense.
for them?
That's just-
We want to,
Yeah.
play with the maps and.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Take this over here.
Yeah.
I wanna see what we come up with.
Yeah, I think leaving these is good because I think inevitably what's gonna happen is when we have this, May 28th meeting, there's gonna be more people involved and they're like, well, we didn't even, there's always gonna
That
be,
always happens.
there's always gonna be the
It's
backlog.
the echo.
Yeah, for sure.
No one told me.
No, yeah, no, I didn't know.
Right.
Actually, prefer it this way. I like smaller,
I'm enjoying it.
like smaller focus groups and.
Is there a place that you envision having that in that space?
That's what we're gonna. I mean, we talked about a couple different spots there. I mean, ideally it'd be, I mean, that's what.
Go back here and do. Let's get consensus.
Parking spot? It's like, that was the easiest place to. Right, so what I'm saying is, some of the stuff, yeah.
Yeah, usually they get Congress. Yeah. But a lot of, we don't get a lot of.
You know, that parking spot can move, there's,
And that's what we know, the trail committee met out there.
We can have.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because we want to expand the parking, and it's right there, and it's not bad.
Oh, that's
Parking
the
is
scale,
essentially
that's
located
nice.
here,
A drop.
and then doing like
Hold on, hold on.
playground
Thank you.
right,
here, and then starting the skate park contract. That's perfect.
So yes, that's, I think we put a little.
Which is really cool.
that kind of,
That is that, what's its best orientation?
that makes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, no, I'll go that way, because I was gonna go the restaurant.
This is.
I mean, that's like the whole thing, I believe that,
So I think this is.
that's
this
Oliver's.
Is one, the slab to the skate park?
Which I mean, Oliver's is,
These are still.
But with that, no,
Yes, they are, they're all.
Oliver's is not, this is not.
There's even three different varieties, three different, like, beginner.
Well, we can do within this, cause this is like
Shape structure.
tennis, I can't remember, that's a building, I think.
Hickory split.
That's a building, all the parking, there's not even a whole lot of parking. And then like basketball and then fitness and then there's,
This is really.
then, so that's the, this is all the skate stuff and that's a bowl. And these are like really nice trampolines, so you can practice kind of flip tricks and stuff.
They have them closed hours every other.
Do
Yeah.
And then this is the original contract. And so, yeah, like Oliver's, yes, Oliver's stuff could fit right there.
So like, within this boundary.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tracking. Skate.
I would say so.
What's its best orientation? Yeah, but what's your, primarily the wind comes from the northwest?
From
What time?
Southwest,
Because I mean,
southwest.
typically blows west to east.
Yeah, these were oriented obviously for sun,
right.
right? Soccer fields and
Now
ball
take a
fields.
wind, so if you're
Yeah,
going to.
you don't want to be looking into the
Probably.
sun when you're trying to shag a ball, so, yeah, there you go.
It happens.
That's that.
There's tennis,
I actually have the duck before.
there's tennis, basketball.
Lost it.
Pickle is-
It's getting me right in the face. Yeah, that's what I'm like.
These are pickleball, tennis.
No.
So bad pickle. Those are
I guess this
pickleball.
is in this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there is, it's in this.
Tennis.
This says 24 acres and you think there's 90.
Fine. That may be including the school.
Okay.
Is there a good orientation for North?
And the access road and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
No
I
tennis.
do familiar with
North
most
south.
too.
And it seems.
I don't remember that. I remember this not being it.
Yeah, these corridors, I thought they had more space here, because I was on that trail committee too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it seemed like we had come in a year in there.
Something like that. And I know we were gonna do a trails map there, and I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had talked about actually doing mitigation and grade out and then bringing in fill to build
Oh, really?
this area too, just because of the proximity, right?
Facility
Corridor.
there,
I don't know.
I wouldn't, flooding the courts. So these are these two separate elements? I don't know how much.
Yes.
We'll need, but we're gonna have to figure it out as we go.
This was just.
You know,
So that's what we're, okay, that's, yeah, this is the figure is just to scale to show us.
Okay.
Where.
Playgrounds occur, something, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have like the playgrounds, we talked about between the fields and the skate park. That way,
Right, so maybe, fit it in this little nook.
cause most of the feedback I got is for moms who have.
This is the horseshoe fit one?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. That's it, I get it.
600.
Okay, I'm being consistent. What's this?
This is the figure, this is the existing figures, facility just for scale.
Five one in here.
And this is.
Well, think about this.
A proposed,
Back again.
park track.
So where are we proposing a community center slash
So.
rec center slash?
So, right off the, yeah, right off the road.
That makes sense to me too.
Less or more or less.
Playgrounds
and courts.
I mean, that's gonna be big.
It'll have its own parking, right? So if
Well,
you have two more fields here, you're gonna need more parking.
Unless there's part, unless this is Gateway and you've got Park Track. you could get it from there.
Parking's always that issue.
There.
Like the country club.
I think at least makes it definitely a lot. The typical stuff, what's out.
And especially in proximity to the high school, you're in business.
Yeah.
Because you can put all of your,
Yeah.
you can store your hurdles,
And
your
your community
kids,
center.
your that, you can store it in the high school in the summer. You're not gonna have to store, you're gonna have to store that stuff somewhere in the winter.
Yeah.
Right? Store it in the high school, store it somewhere.
And the pole vaulting guys were saying you can either build or buy just a covered box for the pole vaulting stuff.
High jump and pole vault, those are your, and hurdles.
Like the Boulder Rec Center, that's where the bathrooms and the
Yeah.
concession would
You
be.
got, you got your soccer nets, you got your all that shit.
With a very limited budget, and we just put crushed granite down and called it a track. And we did fine, until somebody later donated the surface. So you can start there and then grow as the program grows over
Sure.
the years.
Yeah, we didn't get
It
asphalt,
doesn't have to be,
the rubber until my senior year of high school.
yeah,
We had the,
hey,
Cinder.
you make do, right?
My ball's buried in the sawdust, so I don't want to hear you.
But we can use the mulch.
For the track. I mean, really, look at what kids have today in terms of pets and stuff.
I just already done.
Yeah.
Agreed.
so like that. I mean, looking at this, it makes sense to move this parking lot and, do something like that because we could put,
What is this one? What's that? That's
this is the Oliver's, pad.
okay.
And proposed pump areas and whatnot.
So is this the whole, he wants to slab this size?
Just one,
Just that?
one is the 200 by 100 degree deformity.
Just don't want it too close here because the
We're
ball
gonna have to,
will fly.
yeah, and you're looking to need more.
That's why nobody parks there too because your car will get nailed.
Oh.
They go over, they, a lot of people.
These two get built. You're still gonna need more parking.
Yes,
You're
yeah,
gonna
no,
need-
definitely.
And the stuff American Airlines sent me a bunch of stuff, I'm not sure how to respond with them with Oliver's proposal, cause like, he's saying that he knows all
Yeah.
the same people and can get all of these
Nobody likes to
resources,
park there
like
anymore.
the out American Airlines
Like I
company,
said,
and not have
they
it.
went that way more, but no.
Cause I will agree with Oliver, cause some of the stuff they sent me is just like
The only parking here.
copy and paste, like it's doesn't
Yeah.
have.
Mhm.
It just doesn't.
It might be-
Sorry, it's becoming just runs the mill.
Right. It might be a
Right.
long ways. if you-
But I will say that the kids ones have, so they would have a beginner loop, for like strikers, and then have the advanced one.
That's what makes sense. Have the bathroom.
Yeah, kind of what Oliver's got there, and then here too, I mean, like a little beginner loop,
So then this
and
one, this is the
something a little more
concept.
advanced.
In here, do they have a big?
This has a.
No, they don't. So pictures, they were shooting for like gnarly,
Right, so figure it's, this one's got the contract's pretty good.
Yeah, we still
It's
need
fair,
to park,
$5
there's a
to
parking
ride it.
here.
But that's like,
My thought was
these are really
if
steep.
the rec center is up here.
Table
here
tops,
is
they
the
wouldn't need to
parking
jump,
area is shared
we
between.
not necessarily, we have a jump,
Jumps, yeah.
right,
Rec
This
center.
is just a, this is.
this is training ground, and the two, I've been to one in Oklahoma City, and it was blue, but it was so cool because it was just mirror image, so you could race each other.
Oh.
That was cool, that was fun, because I mean, me and my wife were racing.
That's cool.
Basketball court.
Oh, no,
And then to have like, and I will say the little kid one was not supposed to be, every one of the ones that American Racing.
You all stand activities
They
there.
all had like a barrel type situation they could go
That
through.
portion of volleyball.
Yeah.
Cool little metal mountains to go under and stuff like that.
Well, I know, there's a, I can't remember the park in San Antonio, but they put a pump truck in the city park. I mean, it's, so we might look at who the company is that put that in. And then look at what the plans were. It's at McAllister Park.
Yeah, I think that's it. It would be a flood plan
God
is that.
forbid we damage any burrow.
It's brand, so-
Habitat.
And it's a city park.
Well, that's, you know, my
It's
take
that-
on very,
that's-
trail, you have to put down
It's-
metal
it's good
fabric,
Oh, I know.
down everything on top of it.
I thought.
Otherwise,
We need a good dose of.
Yeah.
Like,
How many people are coming to bike this? The idea of it's gonna be using this trail, right? But I don't know how often do people bring
But
it
now,
down.
they're not gonna ride the
What do you mean?
trail to a pump
I
track.
don't know, like 12.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still means a fair bit, cause the main thing, like, this is where it's gonna just help with what we already have going on. Because I know when I ride travel, I take a BMX bike and I take either a trail or a downhill. And so,
Basketball.
yeah, and so we're taking both bikes and like a lot of these kids now that are coming here for downhill, they have BMX bikes with them. Right, because like the BMX bike, and it's like when me and my wife
All
were traveling
traffic you
and
get.
doing a workout program and stuff, like
Well, let me.
we have to get 2 workouts in a day. Well, if we're going across a couple states, we plan our stops for
Okay,
skate
right there,
park.
yeah, like that.
And so that we can get our workout in, or some snacks, get back on the road.
People hit on.
We
And so
get a
we
lot,
travel
yeah,
with both.
we do get a lot of.
I've been seeing it's just
How many
one.
people are like, I see people.
The more people pull it, then belong.
All this space, other side.
Yeah.
Slow pitch softball.
But I think that's why the city,
They go right.
Well, but you just wait.
Georgetown goes right, yeah.
it's not going in.
You guys.
It's very, it's the last
I mean, it's the,
Oh, yeah.
one of every different, you know, longboard, skateboard, rollerblades, skates, all that. But then too, it's almost every kind of bicycle and a lot of.
And every.
And every
men's
age.
fast pitch.
And you know, like,
Adults,
my,
say littles.
my.
It's a.
Cause that's what I.
And we think, I mean, aside from that, when we come here, go there and like
Women.
play all day, set up a mix,
maybe up here.
go get pizza, come back, cause somebody's hurt, somebody wants to keep running. It just goes and goes and goes and goes.
It's like the hardest globe try.
It's pretty big, like the pump tracks, picked up the.
I have to see, I don't want to see, I don't want to see the property turning off parking lot.
It is, but you can ride, like, you, some of them, a lot of them, you can ride, like, you could ride a cross-country bike, you could ride an enduro bike. But then, yeah, you can ride your mountain bike, you like it out. Me, I just bought a
Like bowling, we have.
BMX bike
bowling
for $200 from a kid at a skate park, and that's what we ride.
and curling.
Or you can ride a dirt jumper, or you can ride a dirt.
Talking about the floods.
Yeah, we gotta have some
City
curling now.
Tax.
Just the multi-purpose deal, but the.
That's what I think
We gotta have some curling.
Playgrounds, everything.
Their favorite pastime, curling.
Every.
Come on, man, spend money in.
So,
So putting
you,
facilities that could be destroyed by water, we do not want to do that in 100 years.
I mean,
Right.
take it from Georgetown that was just underwater this past.
Jeff. we-
Or something I really like last year.
Yeah, because they did all the.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, put the parking in the flood.
So I used to go out and flood the lower parking, and at first I used to go out and do Olympic.
I mean,
park.
there's
We used to
lessons
play
learned
football
if you
on
look
Oh, no.
for
Yeah.
people who,
Freeze over.
I thought it was gonna be safe And then
Like,
what was
I built
damaged
one,
and what wasn't,
and I
it's
built
worth
it.
looking at.
Hockey rink,
I mean, how
parameters.
movable is this parking lot?
It's a, and I went
It's just
for
been
a ski
designed.
competition
I think it could move anywhere.
in Colorado, and they
I think
came back
it should
and.
definitely
Put
Yeah.
a goddamn
Yeah.
Christmas tree in the middle.
Something like this, yeah.
The parking lot's not bad, right?
But it's hard to keep, it's really hard to maintain.
That was moved
Yeah.
here,
That's
Because
right.
it'll honeycomb and
you know, and
you gotta,
now all of a sudden, we've got a much more.
we had a little homemade.
And the
tight
parking lot was
consolidated-
wide.
Yeah, synergetic. There's a.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, these are all.
Indoor, obviously, with artificial.
But they have three.
No.
No, it's not.
Define them somehow.
Yeah, wide.
We would need a good
Would
job.
that be part of the rec center?
I don't know how to.
Is that
I assume-
So you're talking
Yeah.
swimming pool,
No.
ice rink, gym.
We're gonna put a bigger one here.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Is this the?
Hey, if you're gonna go.
I mean, this is
Right.
Well,
Yeah, that'd be
people want a
awesome.
nice
I
one.
think,
Love
yeah, I
it.
mean, this would be.
But you have a mechanical
Something
room,
like
there's,
that,
they work together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Maybe basketball.
They use water
There's basketball in here.
and so filtration. And keep it cold, so there's, it's just, that's why
Yeah.
they need to.
Whatever, all, I mean. there's
A lot together, yeah.
Be better than Red River, they got disc golf right there in Mallette Park and it's so dangerous.
Well, that's another program, disc golf, what's?
I mean, but the resort has.
We did the disc golf up there.
Yeah,
We just had a designer redo it at Summit. There was gonna be one at Olympic Park. That one is kind of on hold
Yeah,
right now.
Is there a putt somewhere?
I mean, disc golf next to
I have
playgrounds
that
is
here
a
once.
horrible idea. I've seen grown men get hit with disc golf and it's not pretty.
They hurt.
Dude,
The plastic's hard.
But you can get pretty good at, by the way, miniature golf, concrete, three slats.
Disc golf.
Same thing.
on the resort, and it was just the 4 baskets that I played.
That's what I thought I was.
So I just can't figure out is, so we have Oliver's proposal, we also have this, which has so the only,
Yeah, that's
Basically-
three different varieties.
so basically you could do, somehow you could just do slab Oliver ones.
Right.
We increased the size of, that piece of paper to include your swimming pool and my ice rink.
I think this one's a little more.
Because it was in either of the four, in fact.
I mean, because that's it's small, that's big.
You
It
could
is, sure.
It's a big
I
thing.
can't remember where that one was.
Such small.
That, cause that mirrored one where you could race that.
That'd be cool.
There's that guy, he's a Dutch guy. He lives.
Cause at that point, cause
He
just
just
had
had
like,
like, he's a professional disc golf.
like. Every fast person goes to
Yeah.
the slow person, you're still gonna catch my fingers somewhere, there's like.
Came in and he did ours at the
That's the main one.
That's why all the.
Well, like, if you
Yeah,
got,
so it's
the one where you're
We don't have a
racing,
map yet, but he's shortened it,
you could have like
Made it a
6 people
tighter circuit.
going at once and not.
And everybody says
Gonna
it's
run
more
into
fun.
each other.
That's all I care about.
Oh, cause
You're not losing them off ski runs.
because they picked up the rubber mats that were in the areas, but they left the frames.
Yeah, so I don't know, if they're like,
And then this guy, this is all like
Oh, it's
workout.
Hawkins.
There's, yeah, that's like the.
That's workout stuff, I don't know.
Oh, no, is that suddenly fall apart?
Yeah.
well,
that's the-
probably, there's a trolley company out of Europe. There's the type of.
It's like the outdoor muscle beach. It's-
And we have to have that guy.
Yeah, we just.
It's trying to do, just, you know, go to some,
Yeah. You know.
These are.
Yeah.
So saying it's probably. There's just, no, the hike is. People get more, it's a lot of traction.
For, yes.
Already.
Are they looking at redoing the dry pond again too?
Yeah.
There's also some exploratory holes up there.
But the fight there's, yeah. And that one,
There you go.
deeper, pound it on the outside so that we don't have to kind of wind these out and get to a place where we have swimming to do it. I mean, Greg's just saying, well, I just want to play fancy fish and. Good, put fish in. it.
Hug the edge rather than.
I mean, I say we definitely need those playgrounds. You ever seen the dams and
Parks and dams and parks.
even my students like to take a break?
I've got it.
Oh, really?
And it was taking that whole lower, the Beaver Dam was,
Yeah.
and that whole area was to recirculate. Yeah. So Dan White was on there, the Corps of Engineers, and that was to dredge that whole area behind the real estate. And then we were gonna connect that to the
Position somehow or another here.
big ditch.
We don't get. Just.
Arroyo.
Eagle Creek.
Yes, and then connect it to the Class C water.
Connected to the right.
Yeah, like sewage, 'cause otherwise
Then
they
you've
don't.
got, well.
Just make run.
One in
Which
right fields where it's practicing, it's bringing, you can. Outside, so kids can go to traffic, or whatever side.
Up to the top.
Similar this summer with Bill.
anybody with an idea. That could go.
Trying to push the road, I think, let's get out there and determine where things go.
Didn't we put the water on that?
I got a water line on my store up there in the road. Brand new water line.
We're ready to get started tomorrow.
Trying to push it.
We're going this for 6 years. I think it's right there.
I think it's right
I think
there.
the road is a given.
The road span. That's where the water line
There
is.
was literally a.
Yeah, I think it's-
Too much goddamn work to get that built, right?
Right there.
Bucks for the
That's just
All my same contributions, the list that I've gotten figured out, like, now the plus the grant, water, looking at like a million.
Well, I mean,
Nice.
I don't know labor wise, his side of it, but,
So somehow I was thinking,
for the supplies for it, it was about.
he said, so
60.
the pad is here, then tied in with your shade structure, and then you have somehow synergy between them. Maybe an angle like that, somehow to, there's a connection between the. Would that be oriented north south? So that they can tuck into the wetland or down into this thing. Well, it's all here is here. It's too much risk to be right by softball.
That is a great spot for it though, for the pump track skate park, because then you can see it from the
Put
road.
up a big catch net.
It could be something like that, where it's plan. Parking is here over top.
I mean, it's better than the frisbee golf getting hit with that.
Just like that, parking either side, you can walk there, you can walk. Here you got parking to the right
What about
side.
my road bike, the highway?
Kids
I'm
and-
gonna put out some trails
Yeah.
by the golf course. But then
This is way out of the way.
our attorney wouldn't let us because the golf course coming off, the golf could sell somebody. But I've already, I ride my road, I
Here maybe.
ride it a lot,
So what that.
and I got balls just bouncing off the road, it's hot, where people are, right? Snapping balls, and I've seen, I know guys that pop in the windshield, so
Crossing the rec. So those would have
There.
shade and stuff crossing the rec,
at some point you gotta.
across the road, but. On the road.
Yeah.
All the guys now, it's in the skate park.
Exactly. Trying to get a road.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I would say that,
That'd
yeah.
be nice. Yes.
If you did that, would this road get vacated or?
Still by an administrative road probably, and you still couldn't cover up utilities.
Yeah.
Two ways in and out. When you got a big tournament, it's in Albuquerque, you go to Santa Ana.
Oh,
You
yeah.
go to all
Oh
those,
my
oh my
God.
God, trying to get it out, it's pain, it's insane.
I don't think we were gonna have that
I
problem.
don't think you can have that problem either, but it's always been.
This is the next one.
I do see where you already did that, allowed for bigger corridor, that's fine. No, and they actually, from the very beginning, when we first laid that out, it's on, there's not enough space
There are
there.
emergency services that we have to, like,
The
actually.
kind of facilities plus the viewing area and the muster area and all that.
You're talking about the difference or.
Ambulance,
Not the height, not the elevation, just this width.
Yeah, I was.
The firehouse here.
Oh, yes.
So,
I think, you know-
I mean, the new one's going in right there.
Yeah, I mean, but she.
Fire station, has like
Cuts.
wildlife stuff.
You just eat up
Yeah,
more.
so there's a wildlife fire that pops up there, yeah, fire station do. Yeah, it's just all the type 3 vehicles.
A retainer wall with weep-holes in the whole. It's got to be Japanese arrangements to go somewhere.
I guess you could.
Well, I mean, they have to land a helicopter.
Because if you put a cut bank,
Seriously
you
injured.
just end up that space.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so all air.
Let's put that, a
evacuate
paintball
that
park somewhere
airport.
down there. That was quick as
Yeah, cause they tried, how long they tried to land the helicopter from the backside.
Free to start throwing.
One year, and a gust of wind started to, people don't crash it, but it came, right near close to being.
Yeah, so we got.
We had the worst incident, so after that protocol was back down, the ambulance meets us either back basin or the base.
Maybe there's a road coming in here with a small parking area.
Is there emergency services parking in here?
So, just side of that back.
And then the other one is. If it ever snows here again. Parking. You got snow storage, that's your type.
Yeah, I'm just looking for more bikes.
Fire hydrants where it is,
More bikes.
parking lot.
Maybe people can get those.
Well,
This isn't the worst place to be.
but let's say you're trending in the right direction for your wish.
Move that road over, you know, like I say, you know, when parking.
I remember when it snowed back in mine, thinking 2025, we actually got the snow here.
Actually, it hasn't changed. The worst is-
Would you?
It's a cool, I'm not smart enough to say I understand the
Yeah,
weather.
instead of parking on the, in
Swings and
I
forces.
also know
Yeah, I agree with that too.
we chose the bills.
Parking
It's fair.
associated with it, wrapping around.
yeah, and then you just have all your structures.
It's hard. There's not many places that have this infrastructure, it's just parking.
Yeah, no way.
That chairlift.
Paintball just requires tires, walls and
Which we built.
paintball.
For 3.6 million.
What's it now, Tim?
I think it depends if it's just kind of plain capture the flag.
Thanks,
It's got
Obama.
tires and barriers and rocks to hide behind.
Thanks, Obama.
What's that?
No,
I guess I see them in urban.
it's just a long
Yeah.
running internet joke.
Maybe not, we don't need the heater. What else? Drone obstacle courses?
And that,
As far as the drone stuff, don't you have to have like, I mean, I know I have to have a special license to
Okay.
fly our drone for. our
Gotcha.
I
photography.
think there's more people getting their.
Yeah, I gotcha.
permits. I mean, you.
Getting the license at the resort requires kind of pain in the
that was
butt.
a license.
It's not
Or
necessarily. Or what, I mean, I'm not in charge of it, but
I mean, to say
we have a
the
media guy who.
I agree.
Especially with the amount of emergency services that fly in and out of there.
The FAA would have I think they would be very opposed to having drones in that area.
Cause I know just for doing our filming for our construction. stuff,
But you can geofence drones, so you bring them in, I mean, but you'd have to have a control center where you bring them in and they say, okay, and then you can't go outside that
I have
space.
no idea.
The drone drops out of the air, right?
Well, but you have to remember how much military aircraft comes in and out of this valley. There's gonna be a lot of
I would say the drone,
restrictions.
so we get a massive amount of drone pushback anywhere around here. Just gonna still
You
close
have to
the
think about the
airport.
military also, because they are flying night ops and all
Touch
kinds
and
of stuff.
goes.
with this valley.
They're doing that a lot here.
Yeah, pretty cool.
They
Pretty cool
keep
to see those.
canceling everything, but they do plan to do, high elevation takeoffs and flights and flyovers in here.
So should we rule out the drone? Would that be your consensus or?
I would say just if somebody needs to do their homework on it, but I don't know what that entails, because I'm not familiar with drone.
Yeah, all I know is that if my team is a pain in the butt, anyway.
Anybody that.
Every time you try to film, you have to get a permit every time you film
You know,
over
you
there
gotta get like a special kind of license to do it.
from the FAA for that and stuff. Yes, I understand that, but does a resort have restrictions?
As long as everybody has,
I don't know, like I said, I'm not in charge. I'm
I have no idea.
Make it work. Give me your own service.
They're like, you 280, it was 280 a year. Whatever the federal regulation, I know it's expensive, I looked in, yeah.
Well, we can also talk to the airport manager, who's a pretty good, accessible guy, the airport manager, finding out what the restrictions are in drones within the
I
zone.
don't think I can see how I could every drone we've taken.
Make it crazy.
Gone.
Unless it's been changed.
think that's something to do.
So how do we compare pretty close on our two?
We're looking pretty similar.
It's actually really,
I'm glad we're all in agreement of banning that parking lot right there.
I think that's.
Yeah, I love that, cause being able to, I can already envision it there. Skate park every time I drive back, cause you could see people.
Where are you gonna park?
We got two parking lots.
So there, okay, but in the interim, where the proposed field expansion, right, where everybody's parking in.
Yeah, until then, yeah, totally.
It's hard to justify an additional multi-purpose field out here when you have 4 here, and there's gonna be a trail connecting.
except that it would be on the inside of the track, which you're gonna have a field there anyway. So you might as well go ahead and call it a football field or whatever. I don't care what it is, but it's gonna be on the inside of the track.
We have a track.
But, I mean, this would be,
And cover it.
that type of facility would really require
Big bubble.
a lot of work with Sarah going. Moving this
Right.
to see how useful it would be and if they could contribute funds, if they could pursue grant funding, right?
It's fair.
But don't you have private schools here in the area too that might contribute to this in their own UIL? That's a private, it's a conversation worth having to have like a consolidated school project. I don't
Well, the
know,
school
but-
district includes what, Cimarron? Gilman, and
and
that's it.
I think, yeah,
That's it. Yes, Cimarron of that.
And if you have any private schools, they might, if they're gonna try to use it, they need to be contributing,
You have
right?
private school here.
I don't think so.
Don't have a clue, but
There's
I
some
don't
other
know
charter
anything
schools
in
in
the
Taos.
Right, no, we don't,
no affiliation or.
not here.
But would they? I'm saying if something goes up, then all of a sudden you're gonna have people start coming in wanting a piece of time.
Yeah, House,
Right.
House is doing,
It's fair.
redoing their fields and stuff now too. but-
Eco
No,
High
the
School.
softball field,
Oh, whatever the name, I mean,
I forget
where
too.
oh, rodeo grounds are.
It's right next to
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah, where yeah, they're,
Right.
I mean, they're
Terrible.
doing it now, no, they're turning up and
No, I
they're,
mean, they were.
yeah, they're doing turf.
Bathrooms have been closed for years. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's totally happening now.
Perimeter trail is along the perimeter of the boundary line more or less.
Getting big.
Because it
What
would
about this
connect,
pump track?
yeah, we connect here. This is questionable whether we can have it run along the right of way here and then connect back that way and take more in, but I think Jeff mapped out a, 1.4 mile loop.
How's Redwood pump track?
Around,
Yeah.
Really?
So that's one way.
It's always
good.
It's always,
That's a pretty.
there's always, the worst part about it is they have disc golf right through the middle of that little park, but it's through the middle of.
Well, my initial one was.
Is it down where the helipad is?
Parking lot here is gonna.
No, it's
Turn
up,
down here.
Behind the left.
yeah, it's in the left one.
It's in the left.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then so they have the pavement, the,
So that would.
like the concrete,
Sort of
like
behind.
street.
Yeah, we got
skate
that.
park,
It's already
street
mapped
course.
out.
And then they even have like some dirt jumps. Dirt jumps kind of sketchy, 'cause it's not really dirt, it's more gravel than dirt. So it
So we got the
doesn't.
KML for this.
but it's a
KML
synthetic
for
surface.
This way.
Right?
That it's an asphalt pump track and they've been getting so much use out of it. I mean, this year they're putting,
More sense to be able to.
it's doing pretty well. From what I heard, and they're putting in, AstroTurf in the middle now, like all in the same. To finish it out.
They redid theirs in their floodplain, and then it flooded this past year.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah,
but
but
did
I
they
think
make
it's
a road?
fine.
Well, that was COVID, but it was the same time.
So our biggest, our concern is.
You can use them
What's
as a.
Yeah, for the warning.
our whole concern,
warning
because
because
resort is this one little.
they
bit
also
across-
had
well, it's
mountain
also-
bike trail, all
yeah,
of
within
that.
the wetlands here,
They
but
just,
The
they can't
wetlands
build
and
on it.
everything, I mean, it was.
Well, it's
So-
funny because if you look at the FEMA,
Yeah.
the West Valley,
There's already a nice,
everything we're standing in is in the FEMA
Of the
floodplain.
one that's.
So, right, you've seen that map. haven't you?
I don't think so.
The village has it, so FEMA,
It's already in
or whatever
place.
the.
So yeah, we've got the cave up and up, we've already
And
mapped
they've
it out,
done
we
it a
have
couple
stakes,
times,
we
and
mowed
like the
it.
airport's underwater, everything's underwater.
Years ago.
Right, I'm wondering where this
So
water
the
comes
hardcore features could kind of be.
That's there. I know.
And it does.
If we did a
It
fitness
happens.
station.
Yeah, but it's, I've been there a long time, I've never seen a climate park.
Fortunately, we don't live along the
Could
river.
do
Let's get in there, we have to wash up here.
What's that?
The San Gabriel
The
Park.
fitness stations, here's my take on fitness stations, I have
I think
never
it's have to be
seen,
completely
Oh, wait.
separate.
in my 40 years of land
Village
management,
open space, is that what?
a shape
is that
person
the
trying to
word?
do a sit-up.
It's right on the river.
I've never seen it.
And
So fitness stations ought to be
Money
for
went into this.
flexibility,
Just
stretching,
finished it.
bone strengthening that are more designed for our population than they are for the people who are already in shape.
I mean,
And they make those kind of stations. You gotta
Well,
buy.
you don't see this Cleve.
Yeah, I mean, like the ones in Redstand and auction, the main market, Red Wings, those are your shit.
But I've never seen it,
Those are like, I guess,
Yeah.
like
banks or,
uh,
I mean,
playground equipment,
Okay.
Yeah, I
right?
guess that is.
There's
a
some nice
big-
ones out there, but I've never seen anyone who's out of shape. Obese or otherwise,
if anything, I mean,
Trying
those
to-
splash ones that
weight bearing exercise.
come down off the mountain.
They don't do that, you're right.
They might-
And you don't have storm
They
drainage.
do not,
You
no,
know,
that's not.
washes out stuff, but I've never seen like the valley.
I wanna do is sit up, but people watching me, and I can't do one sit up. So, why don't we spend money on fitness stations for those?
Yeah, you know, and frankly, they're not used all that often.
No, they're not as much as you think
Not
they
as
are.
much as.
No, the
They're
fitness
nice
stations,
and neat.
they'll sell the hell out of them.
Right.
So we do some, it's gotta be for our population, for stretching, bone strength, flexibility, kind of X stations.
Right, okay.
And I think that's a good.
Yeah, that place actually really-
You know, this is.
Oh, yeah.
Expansion.
Bummer.
Yes, it is.
A lot of money washed away down the
Anything
river.
with that right now. How do we access, is this at only access?
So,
True.
I mean, I swear.
This room. Is the other stadium.
well.
I mean, if that's just for the school,
They had just done.
so the track around this, right? Run them all track around
It
the.
was, I think, most part all natural, but.
Check what all the lanes are in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know whenever we
Matt Field's not gonna. fit.
Whenever we did our trails committee meeting out here at, Bill, whatever, last week, we had more or less talked about doing the skate park pump track over in this area so that we could, you know, potentially expand. Take it in that corner, kind of limits any expansion of that part of the facility. But I mean, in Texas, in like Canadian Texas, their entire thing is a drainage. Like their entire skate park is like you can drop in from the drainage and it's a big.
With the drainage.
Yeah, and it's all cars.
So couldn't this be?
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Didn't know Canadian had such.
They have a Texas shaped quarter pipe. That's what I learned how to like.
That's pretty
on the
cool.
bike. It's.
That's a great idea.
Which is
Build the
actually-
drainage infrastructure now and call it the skate park.
This is pretty, I was surprised this is floodplain.
I'm blown away with that.
Yeah, that Canadian.
But that's where that white,
I know, there's
like
so
mineral
much right
deposit
there.
is, that crosses the road right there.
Yeah, it's,
See that?
it's not the creek, it's the type of grass, it's the type of grass and it's when it brings up the.
Cause the elks stand there and drink water out of that.
Begs the question of access for the community if,
Skate side, that white shit that comes up.
and Frank Young Trail, wait, there's no name.
Up there,
Is it the lantana or, what's it called?
it lives, it's a white deposit, it's a mineral.
Oh, that's just a saltation, is it?
It's a calcium saline. Right,
calcium carbonate,
right, exactly.
that precipitates out gas.
So but that's how they identify wetlands necessarily. It's not because you step in.
But there's water there.
Right.
I mean, there's a
Plant
water.
material,
walk
it's
there,
the vegetation,
drive
it's
around.
salt accumulation.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, we have to be really careful with the wetlands because this is one of the main tributaries into Eagle Nut Lake, which is already in bad shape. So there, there's 5 tributaries. Seneca Creek is one of the main key tributaries, one of the highest tributaries into Eagle Nut Lake. So it, the whole village and resorts are doing everything possible to protect this watershed and fisheries, because that's, part of our recreational income is the fisheries there. Access to this thing. Well, I'm thinking we just stay out as much as possible, nothing permanent that's structured in the wetland area. And we do, the village, how it works, we're grading roads, but we still are doing a lousy job of catching sediment coming off those roads. And that's just coming right down into the pond you guys want to dredge. So
Which pond would that be?
the wetlands,
Dam.
people call it the mud pits.
It was the Lake and Dams project. You got a copy of that?
So,
Behind the.
but access issues, if we can't get the
I've
trail,
never seen that stuff.
Frank Young Trail done from
And it was reducing the.
Mountain View Center. We still have
Treatment and recirculating.
pedestrian access.
We do.
We don't have, we have no right of way.
That's how long ago was that proposed?
We have a bike lane on this side of the street, so you can ride to school, but you can't ride back because there's no bike lane going back. So if we do a pedestrian trail, I wonder if we could have that inside of the right of way to Camino Grande, at least to get down here. So there's pedestrian access to here in the school. The other thing I always thought of the skate park, is closer to town is because they're all gonna go to Rockies to get another, Monster Energy drink to keep skating. And we're a long way from having them access Rockies to get a Monster Energy drink. So that access issue is a concern.
We thought the skate park made more sense of it.
I do too.
Yep. For the same reason, it's more.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then all the kids.
Exactly.
That was my first.
It's more urban, it's more accessible. This seems more.
This is where we
A little, but.
been pushed to at this
I'll
point.
be honest.
Even though he knows when we're gonna do
Your
the
ability,
event
if I had energy.
or whatever it is.
Outside of the.
Vending machines.
I don't even know.
Then it would, that could be.
Yeah, that's,
And off-grid growth, off-grid truck right here in the parking lot, where all the skaters.
By the way, I mean, you want food truck opportunities.
Yeah.
where are they gonna park?
It would be like adjacent to
Or
park.
you have sponsors that come out and support races or whatever.
The concession stand itself was supposed to be a revenue stream, right? So, and whether
So that's a
that
good
goes.
call.
But is it
Sponsor
open all
tents
the
and
time?
kind of a
Yeah,
vending
you get,
area.
you get a bike thing going here and track wants to start parking their bike trailers in here and I mean, there's a lot of space.
So we need a
That Porsche
vending-
trailer
We need a vending.
kind
area.
of situation,
I mean,
size.
Fruits or,
Yeah, that's an extra, yeah, that's an
sponsor,
extra
any kind of
space.
sponsor.
yeah, access space.
How big of a space do you think you need for that vending area?
You know, I mean, how many tents do we get up here if we have an event up here? And then when we have the World Cup here, up at this bike park, shit, we had 30 tents.
Yeah. And they're all 10x10 tents basically, right? So,
They were all pop-ups, but then you have bike racks and everything else, wash stations, goes on and on. I mean, it's just like, we had Ragbri here, right? And we had Ragbri here, we tried to expand that, and they said, you don't have enough parking. It was the same thing when we tried to get Tough Mudder here, that you don't have enough parking in camping.
And camping, and I was gonna say, that's a whole nother thing, is if people are gonna want to come for an event, and are they gonna wanna tent camp? If the event starts at 6 AM, and where are they limited to stay? I don't
And
know.
then you've got, then you got public, you got ordinance and zoning that
yeah.
controls all that, so.
I mean, Fire Road 5 and 76, that's where I've been going the last 10 years.
Right, yeah, but that's
Yeah.
outside of our GBT.
Yes.
that's Greg Ralph's problem.
Yeah, not it.
I mean,
I can see.
I mean, we need GRT, man.
That's also true.
Right? You want rec fees? You're gonna extend rec fees? I mean, that's how we built this sucker.
What if there's a multi-use or a multi-space in here for these tents and sponsor area?
Because that's where the balls can hit into.
Well, I mean, it might not be happening.
That would be.
So a lot of
Rest of the sunsets, doesn't it?
That I don't know. I know the skate park is, a lot of the money is coming from donations and whatnot.
The rec fee, that every lodge
Or the,
pays,
yeah,
right,
Potential
is
camping
coming,
space.
that's what paid for the, that's how we justified
Depends on the
the,
zone.
right.
the initial funding.
I don't,
If it's.
And I think the funding, the note on that park, I don't know if it's still running.
I have no idea.
That was done this year.
That was before my time, and I'm not on council anymore.
And I was able to
I'm
allow.
just there to keep saying pump track.
I'm not.
He said, "Did we have a pump to go up?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the interim,
So the rec fee was the biggest obstacle we had to getting this whole thing started.
that way you keep them
Because all the
all separate
lodgers went, oh, we
Yeah.
don't wanna
from
pay.
running
it."
around in the inside of all this.
We didn't want, because it was a lot, you have lodgers tax already. And then the rec fee on top of that, remember even Bubba came in, he was all pissed off, he had a property management company. He was pissed off.
You can always camp here on this night. Exactly.
Right. He was pissed off. It's the pickleball.
Yeah, so what we can have.
We need to find a cake run on the airport.
Incident, have somebody sucked into
It is
the fire.
Oh, yeah?
Goodness.
Isn't Trinity do, who gets the fun run on the airport?
Is it on the airport?
Yeah, they do it on the Elkie.
I think
every
it's
year.
training or something.
Yes, the 4th of July or something.
We did do something, yeah, I remember. I
Yeah,
haven't-
my daughter runs it on there. Not a lot.
All right, so we're close on the ideas, huh, sort of.
We are,
Yeah,
I mean,
very close.
Ryan's putting this in town now.
Right. Well, what about, but you know.
Brett is totally opposed to having the skate park,
Yeah.
within Mountain View Event Center, and, you know, and even though my argument, all of our arguments is that. Cause he thinks this is the recreational complex,
Okay.
so it's a valid point.
Because it would be, too much.
But the idea of having the plaza alive with activity, that's why I recommended it in town.
I think we all kind of liked it in town
Yeah,
originally.
I think you can go wherever you park from the bike park, camp from the bike park, was they closed at 4. Jared quit spinning at 4, so then you have all the rest of the evening to ride the bike.
Brett wants to pull up, hold on.
And nobody wants to go trails too, because they've been riding down,
They're not in.
they'll go ride a pump track and they're not pedaling.
Stop pedaling your bikes through the green belt.
Yeah.
Go over here,
You gotta walk.
go around the soccer fields. Jesus Christ. I mean, this is a recreational valley. The
Yeah,
valley is a playground. So you put it in the appropriate spots.
and both, there's arguments, both arguments are good out here, cause it's all these facilities here, and you have the amenities to support it,
Yeah,
and the infrastructure supported.
and we could have lighting out here, we could be a little brighter.
It does give mom and dad and bike trails and things to get kids.
But you could start, I mean, technically you could start club teams that use the same services too. And then that's another whole generating revenue thing, like not, you start to,
Yeah, the other thought too was, the new housing development that's somewhere off at Erie.
Yes.
The road, the idea was the intersection was gonna, well, the first one that's going in now, the 6 houses,
Phase 2's out.
yeah, that's actually a family development, and,
I think phase 2's back here.
Phase 2's yeah, but phase 1 is down here somewhere that they put in the 6 houses. I think the idea, Brett's idea one time was that you could, those families could walk across the street into the recreational complex, because it's almost as if you have the road within from down below. But I don't, that's looking like, it's not gonna be a family development, I hope. I haven't seen a tree put in there or.
Oh, it's coming. It's because now we're trying to, for the village to own.
Yeah.
It's always a whole thing. Government.
Okay,
Well, this is great. You know what? We just changed the zoning ordinance.
I'm the vice, yeah, I'm the vice chair.
Screw that.
We have for 2 years. I've been doing that one for 2
I didn't
years.
know that.
Yes, sir.
And so we should have all 30, we're hoping for all
My
30.
proposal to Jack that said we should have a bus shelter there at the road so that parents don't all converge. Did that get to your committee?
No, actually, no.
Years ago, we had a bus shelter at the bottom of the hill,
That's a great idea.
by the lake.
I'll bring it
Called the
up.
Smiley Face Building, that's why there's a little sign there with a smile. But that's where all the families went, instead of having like every 20 feet, the bus stops
Yeah.
and picks people up. We actually had this place where
And the kids
everybody,
would get taxed.
everybody drove and parked in one or two places, and the bus went to two places.
I know, I've always.
Catherine County, it's
Amazing.
years ago.
Crazy.
Wolf.
But now, it's like, little bastards can't walk.
That's what amazing.
They all think that the wolves are killing the cattle, the kids are going to kill the kids too, so they built bus shelters.
And I have.
Just, you know, it was a bus wolf problem in this area.
When else you get on the bus, I'd say, when you get off the bus, you move your ass. These ones. They saw you there, everybody's held up, so.
Yeah, I
You
think
got it.
there ought to be a little shelter.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna bring that up.
I'd love to see
That's
that.
why you bring track, because they're.
All the parents shelter.
Running twice today. Teach you.
Also,
The other concept, when we started this, I'll tell you, when we started the high school, which there's, I was on the high school
There, I mean,
committee.
one of their designs, there's.
I wanted to have like a sports academy.
All right, so Ken, what else we got on this, Ken? We need to wrap up on this here.
I think,
Are you gonna review?
Then we started to merge into the high altitude sport training center, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that we could market a high
We got
altitude
a
training
lot of
center
wish lists.
because
We got a
85.
wish list that's expanded 2 or 3 times beyond what we
Yep.
originally.
But we were talking about
Okay.
lodging. Like
We can narrow back though.
Yeah,
Can,
it's not zoned for that.
if I were to put this together, I'm gonna have to think, and the financial considerations that you brought up were just potential considerations. How do we tackle that? I mean, if we're gonna have a master plan, I'd like it to be useful enough for you to integrate it into your CIP. How to do that well and within the right increments, right? Is, I'd be interested in.
There's somewhere else.
The recreation center.
That's probably the longest, that's the piece that's furthest away, I think.
Yeah, and I think if you reserve all that, right, real estate for that, and it's so far, they're not gonna be doable, then you compromise on the stuff that you have funding for. And you put it in maybe not the most ideal location, because you're holding that for that, and that's just maybe never gonna,
This is obviously first priority to site well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's especially.
I like to think
It's in the
that,
queue.
because I'm not gonna be here 40 years. But I would like to think that somebody 40 years ago, thank God those stupid bastards with their pictures on the wall decided to leave that space. So just because we're on the timeline doesn't mean that this village is. I've been here long enough that I've seen a lot of stupid things happen here that we wish we had not done. We moved to Turd Pond from there, up there. We've done a lot of stuff where it had to move and it cost a lot of money. And I just think you owe to 30 years from now, 40 years from now, to have a space for a rec center that makes sense.
Fair. Totally fair.
I mean, yeah, we trip over ourselves too often. We don't have enough long-term strategic vision and all we do is tactically move shit around.
Yeah, so as far as the funding part, that's why I think, you know, there's this idea of a gift catalog or founder's catalog, whatever. So, you know, paintball part, let's say it's $7,500 for the features. Maybe use the fencing's already there for the paintball part, so, you know, sponsorship for the paintball part. You know, these people that have stupid money that are, you know, spending $300,000 just to rock around their house. Should put something else towards the community.
Billy Chipmunk contest.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think like the horseshoe pits, those, they could probably, I think they could probably easily come up with the money for that.
I can imagine.
So I think if we have the spaces for stuff, we can put it in a phased in, but as an all planning, if something, or my beer comes around that he's gonna give up his Arizona house to put in new pickleball.
How generous.
Kit Carson was gonna bring in put in the lights.
Yeah.
Remember?
And
And,
our,
and we made a quid pro quo with their solar thing, I thought.
so this is the whole thing, like, isn't this a dark sky community
Yeah,
anyway?
right.
So we have to
The electric guys.
think about that
It
when
is
we're
not-
putting lights on the field.
It is not yet a dark sky, but I think it's on out there.
Yeah, but we were gonna turn them off at 10 o'clock anyway.
That's not the thing. The thing is that the doming
Yeah.
of the lights. So if we're gonna put them in, we might as well put in the ones that are
Compliant.
compliant. That way we're not re-spending money when the dark sky happens and now we have to go back and retrofit
July.
ball field lights. Because it's easy to just do it right the first time
Your roads suck.
and keep everybody happy with the progress that's being made across multiple committees moving forward.
Because the people in town is fine to screen more, but the lights over here.
That's one.
And so if they're living in South Pines, looking up the way, and at 10 o'clock at night, we've got. You know,
I think
lights and
everybody in
soft
the
lights.
valley would appreciate the,
If they're going off by 10 or 9:30 or 10, I think that's.
That's what the dark sky committee came up with.
Okay.
You have to turn off your lights.
Okay.
And there's lumen requirements
Right.
and all that shit. It's like, cause I'm dealing with that at the ski hill.
Yeah.
Because we have car boats, right? From the dark
I
sky.
played an all-night football tournament, so.
And so, but it's funny because I'll tell you one thing, people who drive into this valley at 9 o'clock and see the night skiing are pretty stoked to see that. So there are things that people like to see lit up. I mean, Ray Renfro's thing down here came up in the night sky, or dark sky. I'm sure a lot of people like that. I thought if you did a survey, some people would go, Jesus Christ, you know, the cranky old guys.
Yeah.
But some people really like seeing it, so.
A lot of the tourists come in, they think it's interesting, yeah, they don't, they're just like, oh, what's that, you know, yeah.
yeah, it's a compliance thing, right? As long as we're considering it, then I think we're doing due diligence to
Precisely.
make everybody happy.
And lighting has come a long way.
It
It
is.
is so much better than it used to be. There's very little.
And more efficient.
Much more.
Yeah.
So we'd never proposed on the pedestrian trail that being year-round access, would we?
For, what are you asking for?
Well, if people wanted to go out and walk a loop in the winter time without snowpack,
Oh, okay.
is that a feasibility? Is there one loop in town that could be snow-free for people to get physical activity on?
It's out there in the sun, there's.
Might not hold too much.
No, out there?
Yeah, I doubt that it sticks around.
Yeah, hard surface is an issue that's too expensive. And crusher fines you really can't scrape very well and lose it all, so.
But we've had crushed, I took a Kid Tech and snowmobile when we had great snow, did the green belts. Did them on the, south side, so they were shaded with north exposure and they stayed for a long time, you know? But are you talking about winter
I'm thinking about,
snowshoeing?
no, I'm talking about winter walking.
Winter walking,
So,
is that snowshoeing?
That's what he's talking about.
Without snow,
I'm talking about if you.
warm shoes, but not.
If you had a
snowshoes.
mile and a half fitness loop here, just a walking path, and you went to park there and go for a walk in a nice sunny Saturday or whatever, without snow on it in the winter. And maybe we'll never have snow in the valley again anyway, but, I think it's,
When we do get snow, there's a lot up there.
yeah, it's feasible, it's fiscally probably not feasible to pave or hard surface a mile and a half.
There's other places that you can
Yeah.
walk. you
Yeah,
know?
we could do the mountain, pump track.
People come in and walk around there.
This is that becomes a wellness.
Thanks, everybody.
During the cold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got it. Anyway, wrapping up. All right.
Thank you so much. This was great information. I'll try to summarize what I heard, which is a lot. But, and put these ideas, it might be that we're headed toward one kind of concept, there's not many different things going on between the two. Unless I have some brilliant idea and things come.
So who here is a committee member? you're a committee member?
We're the chair and co-chair of
And
that.
then
And Josh, yeah,
And
Josh,
Josh, you're another committee member?
we had 3 absences.
Okay.
I'm the
You're the liaison.
I'm the, yeah, the village person.
We're the voting.
I got a slab, does that count?
Okay. John did on the next. There's 3 others.
And 3 others.
Yeah.
And at some point you merge trails and
Recreation.
rec. Okay.
Good.
And that's why, I mean,
I used to be on both.
Yeah.
the Frank Young Trail proposal we put together 3 years ago now, that got planning funding is the one that we can't get. We can't get any traction from the resort to give us a okay on that. So we've kind of like set back on that and we're focusing on this. We also want to.
They all kind of go together. You
They
know,
all do.
That was why,
Well,
why I
yeah,
said, you guys okay with
they
that?
integrate, right?
Yeah, they do.
One committee, yeah,
So it does work together.
same goals.
We are gonna work on adaptive trails too. I know, last year the Go Unlimited guys rode the whole mountain.
Right.
And I wanna get all the Greenbelt stuff assessed for
Is
adaptive.
Patrick on this?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
He's the resort liaison.
Okay.
All right, so next timeline is to 28. You get back to us?
28th, I'll come back with a couple concepts
Okay,
and, probably I'll touch base with the committee
yeah.
and you can share it with the way you wish.
And Matt's still the point person on this.
Sure, that's fine.
It's maybe like top of the hill. So that's my.
Three concepts you haven't seen.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. You're gonna see what we got and where we're going.
The South Trail,
On the right track or not.
Dead ends at the end of this road. Camino
It'll probably
Propel.
be by hand, so try sketching at the end is not.
It's only, I think that's reasonable.
Right, try the pedestrian trails. We can do it on the right of way here all the way down.
Hill, look around.
Here somewhere.
Oh, you take the left.
So ped trail.
I have to go up for the
So I
resort.
gotta pass this coming down the hill.
If we're gonna probably dismantle the, like we're free house where he
So I
used to
can
live
ride my
there.
bike to coach swim practice.
Just now.
Yeah.
We're
I
in.
used to live in the Iowa free house.
Permanent coach.
No, I'm talking about-
Yeah, that's good.
Iowa free house, past the sportsman's club, if the roofs came down.
Oh, okay,
So we're looking at salvaging that. That house originally
okay.
was where Monteverde Lake is.
Ah,
So when the Levises built Monteverde Lake, the dam there, they relocated it up there. I was wondering, but you're on the other side of it.
I'm straight up Camino Grande, all the way, keep going up the hill, it's kind of.
But it turns left, you're up by the
Alright,
Lord.
so you're,
Yes, I'm next door to Mike. So, yeah, that's,
Good view.
Thank you so much.
sweet, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Wonderful work.
Really.
thanks for bringing us back up to speed on what you guys accomplished.
We didn't get much done except that green thing there.
We're all done, yes.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, you were a part of it.
Yeah, sweet.
I was with you.